equipment deck is going to be challenging random opponents from Magic. Now Nahiri has not shown up. A little tweak, carrying few equipments this time, but more powerful are over here. Roa's champion has been added to the deck and alongside with the Sky Hunter Skirmisher because the flying and double strike of this guy is quite powerful if he gets to connect, but well, it has to survive with one toughness. That's not so easy to do. That's why we have the Roa's champion with us. Also, we are running another addition is this one instant just to save one of our creatures from a removal spell and also gives us a clue if we use that, and also another one drop in Cliffside Lookout that happens to be an ally and possibly is not going to happen the activated ability in our games, because if by 5 we are not already winning, this is not going to matter, but still it's an ally, so that we can try to cope and use cohort with the Stoneforge Acolyte and whatnot. So let's go ahead and try to find ourselves a new opponent. Let's see how does it feel this time the deck. So of course having Nahiri out there could change the flow of the battle quite a bit. I think it's one of the most powerful planeswalkers that you can find. He has the ability to let you draw and discard, so it goes well with Madness and also some of graveyard interactions. Also, she has the ability to exile enchantments, artifacts, and tapped creatures. And one of the most important things, she can use her ultimate to find a creature from your deck and put it right into the battlefield. That's quite a feat. Let's see what are we up against this time. I think we are meeting some blue cards from the other side, perhaps white and blue, or who knows. But this is just a conjecture based on the avatar the opponent chose to wear. So, but apparently something occurred with the connection. Let's go ahead anyways so we can figure out the type of deck the opponent tries to play. Let's keep this hand. It's not a spectacular hand, but at the very least we have a play for 3 and we can be dropping our neglected heirloom next turn. So depending on the next draw we might play this or not. I think the cliffside lookout is better and we can delay the looming spires. Next turn we equip the heirloom on the cliffside lookout and give her +1/+1. I think that's not so bad, because the utility of the Ironclad Slayer is to recover an equipment from the graveyard. So there are not many ways for in the current set to that the opponent will want to spend a powerful card to destroy an equipment, but you can never know. So now that we have another untapped land, we might prefer to equip play the Ironclad, but I think still it is better to play the heirloom here. So the opponent doing some sort of planeswalkers, but is completely mana screwed. So I think this is going to be quite boring. Probably if the opponent has something, it's going to be showing up too late for it to matter. So let's keep playing here. Perhaps next turn is a chance to use the slap hammer. So instead, Slayer's Blade, quite powerful. So, more chances to play Strider Harness and right away equip. Let's go with that. So since this grants haste to other creatures, I think on the long term that's the way to pull more damage from the hand we have. So we can play this next turn and use the Strider Harness on it, so we could be doing 6 damage. But if we had played the Slayer's Blade, we have to wait another turn to equip, and we add 4 power. Now that we have another land, still I think later on we can activate the Middle Spires, but since we are not having enough mana to equip the Heirloom, that's not going to be so good. So let's go ahead with the plan of the Ironclad Slayer, and we are going to equip the Strider Harness over this. And well, the question is the Thingy DI is going to block at all. If you can block the Cliffside Lookout without major trouble, I think we should pass the Heirloom on this, because it's not so obvious which one the thing in the ice will want to block. If it blocks this, we are doing 1 more damage, but missing 1 point of damage and trading is not that bad. So this is a very powerful equipment, but of course with great power comes great mana cost to play and equip. Declaration in stone over, I suppose, the Ironclad Slayer. We receive a clue, and the Stoneforge Acolyte. This is not so good at this point in time. So maybe using the slap hammer, recovering this back to hand is perhaps the most powerful way to go right now. Let's equip this. Now I'm going to equip the Heirloom and attack for 4. If we return, I think the Looming Spires is kind of good. Well, of course it's good because the opponent is not being able to play anything yet. So next turn this gives us 1 extra power. Let's see, another discard, and I think indeed this is about Planeswalker. So let's go with the Acolyte, equipping the Strider Harness, Looming Spires. I don't know if it will matter so much which one do we use it on, but let's go ahead over the Cliffside Lookout and play. The opponent might have some sort of spell by 2 white, especially. Let's return the planes to hand. This is 5. And that's it. We can pass the equipments from one creature to the other, but it's pointless at this moment. And the opponent does nothing. He's going to discard again, or it, I should say. And Hanquer Garrison and Thalia Heretic Qatar, both quite nice, but kind of irrelevant at this moment. Well, if the opponent has something, maybe it is relevant. So let's pass the Strider Harness over to the Hangar Garrison and go ahead to deal the final little damage. Alright. Well, not the most amusing, but it's a victory still. Let's see if we find ourselves a better challenge next match. Come on, come on, come on. We are gaining lots of coins here. Let's go. Joining session. Very quick. Let's see what happens next. It's a default avatar. It's hard to predict what's going to come up from this. Of course, there is a very tiny remote chance that the opponent chose to run this particular avatar and background, but I don't think it's quite likely. So here we are running 0 creatures. I think we need another hand. This one doesn't have the white for these 2, but if we mulligan again, so we are on the draw. Let's hope we draw some white so we can play the Weapons Trainer. Well, this is good enough. So let's go with this. So we are going to search a plane that lets us play the Stoneforge Acolyte. So let's right away play this one. Another question here. Okay, if I play the Looming Spires now, I miss 1 point of damage eventually. But if I but in the next turn I can play Weapons Trainer and use the cohort. Otherwise, I could play Battlements and still wait. But I can also prepare a turn for the Kazul's Toll Collector, but this one is better to play if we had something like the Starter Harness out before playing the Toll Collector. So Oath of Liliana makes us sacrifice our 1 drop. Right? A little. Sorry, so this might be pointing towards some form of Planeswalker deck, but I'm not too sure about that. So let's go with Weapons Trainer. I think that is not the most mana efficient from us, but what I'm trying to do is to make the opponent spend his cards to kill this one. So Liliana counts as a Planeswalker eventually. So Clifftop Retreat. We could play the strider harness right away and equip the weapons trainer. So the opponent, I want him to spend his removal spells on this one instead of the absent missionaries, and I guess the opponent is not going to block here, so we get in for 4. That's good. 5, and well, he has the other Nisa out, Voice of Zendikar. This token is going to be stopping our weapons trainer. That's kind of bad for us, but we might fool the opponent. Thalia is quite nice here, so let's kill the Nisa. Let's see if the opponent blocks with just that. Let's write down. And this is a glitch from the game. The damage went to the Planeswalker, and now we bring out Thalia, the Eradicator. If she stays alive, that's quite huge because the opponent is not going to be able to play nice creatures, and she also has first strike to deal with these attacks. So the Hungry Garrison, quite nice. Baron, some combat trick. I think that with this card we win the game. Let's just equip this one here. So, alright, let's see. Let's offer the trade. Right, that's good. The opponent probably wants to double block here, but he loses his 2 creatures and takes 4. He's only preventing damage. He decides to trade. That's quite fair. And let's see. Do we want to keep this trade harness on or this one? Maybe just in case. Let's try to save Thalia from some damage, or well, it's not going to save her from any form of removal, but at least she gets to survive a little more. It makes it difficult for the opponent to kill her. So now any creature the opponent plays now, it's going to enter the battlefield tapped. The opponent can gain quite a lot of life through Lisa's Revelation. This one is you do not get to see that often. Woodland Bellower. So scry 5, then reveal the top card, and if it's a creature, you draw a card equals to its power, and you gain life equals to its toughness. And whereas just the token appears thanks to the Oath of Liliana and the coming in from Lisa, the opponent had to discard a lot, and regrettably for the opponent we have plenty of ways to defeat him. What is the nicest way to do this? If we drop the Abyssin Missionaries, we hit for 3 plus the Strider Harness gives, well, that doesn't change the total, but it receives +1, so we add 4 extra damage to our attack. If we melt our Hungry Battlement with the Garrison, That will be a 7-4 attacking +2 Eldrazi Hordes. I think that is the most damaging option for us, but also a kind of more flashy play is to drop these two creatures, buff a lot of our side, and we still get enough damage. So let's go with the Toll Collector here. Let's borrow the Destroyed Harness from Thalia and swing with all our creatures except the Weapons Trainer, but the Garrison is going to make appear two 1/1 tokens that get the bonus from the Weapons Trainer. So that is, these tokens could have dealt the same damage from the account where within Township, plus we have an extra 6 here. And game over. We got overboard with our attack. The opponent ended at -13. Not bad. Not bad. So I could say that we were a bit lucky, and the opponent was too aggressive with his Oath of Liliana to kill just one drop. But of course, if he delays the Oath of Liliana, we might run another creature and still we get to choose which one we sacrifice. So that wouldn't change too much. Let's see, another default avatar and background. Let's see what we are facing this time. So far, so close. We start, and given that we start and we have no white, I mean no red, this is going to be difficult. Thalia is great to begin with, but we are not sure if we are going to be able to play her. So here I think this is very keepable. We can start with the Stoneforge Acolyte. We might activate Cohort next turn, depending on what the opponent is doing. Also, we might get in for one. Deathweight right off the bat. So pretty much a removal deck with white. Let's hope we do not need much of this, because since our deck is creature based, it's going to be quite painful. So let's go with the Middle Spires and the Cliffside Scout. So eventually we might won if the game goes long and long, if we have all the equipments out. We might, even if the opponent kills the creatures at this rate, since we can give them haste, we might still do it. So I think here Golden Wilds is fine. Let's go with a mountain and Weapons Trainer. That is going to meet bitter end, I guess. Or if the opponent has any copy of these two, it's going to kill Weapons Trainer. Let's find out if he's running another color. Apparently only black. Kind of interesting here. Now Looming Spires, of of course, just to give this a better survival chance against some of the removal from the opponent, and of course an extra point of damage against the life total. So the opponent might also have the Fleshback Marauder, so let's go with the Ironclad Slayer. And I think this is a game for the Needle Spires. Even if the opponent starts killing these two, the Needle Spires is going to take care of the damage there. Murderous Compulsion. So far on the removal spells on the side of the opponent, now we can hit for 7 in total. I think the only way with 1 black mana for the opponent to deal with the creatures could be with a Death Weight, but it's an enchantment, so he cannot play it now. He has to wait. So at 9 we are getting close. In 2 turns we might get even less, perhaps, if we draw something. Now Terran Foul Bloods, Foul Bloods, not bad. So if we activate the Needle Spires, we cannot afford the write down. So let's hit the opponent for 3. Get down! So there's a card in Hearthstone that has that sound effect. Get down! But the effect is quite different from this. But well, the opponent is at 6, so if he has to remove the Ironclad Slayer or present a blocker for our attack, or he dies. Dark Salvation, not bad. He's going to bring 1 zombie token out to fight. So no, he regrets that, and Liliana's lead, a 2/2. Neglected Heirloom. Well, that can save the Ironclad Slayer quite well. So let's go ahead with this. We equip this one and activate the Needle Spires. That way the opponent is not going to be able to prevent 4 damage this turn, and he's forced to block either one of these. He takes 4, and even if he removes the Ironclad Slayer, we can equip the Needle Spires with the Neglected Heirloom. Well, I'm not sure if the pronunciation is the proper. I could say this is heirloom, but I have heard heirloom. So, who knows? English rules are not always the best. So Dark Salvation against the opponent regrets that. It only brings out a 2/2 zombie token and gives this one -1/-1, and he spends all his mana to do so. Perhaps if he has a land and another death weight, he could kill this guy, but instead he couldn't. Game over. Even, well, we cannot give this one haste, so let's take down the health of the remaining artificial intelligence. So die, computer dying. So computer didn't even bother into blocking our final damage. So that was a nice winning streak and a nice showcase of the abilities of the artifact. Well, not quite artifact, but equipment. So let's go ahead and open a couple of boosters and call it a day. Let's see the right. No, let's open one at a time, and we find prey upon. So this one is quite useful. Recall I did a Death Touch based deck, and this kind of cards is extremely powerful. For instance, if you are running the Narble Riot, it has Death Touch for 1, and you can prey upon on any creature that has not hexproof or indestructible, and you kill it with this two. It's quite likely that you are going to lose the riot in the process, but still is quite powerful. Another write down that can take many players by surprise, as we saw. Bolt Impaler. This one is a more expensive version of a goblin that does exactly the same for less mana. So kind of more expensive ability, but this one happens to be vampire, might be relevant. A very powerful wolf, kind of overpriced for 5, you get it for 4, but it can out self pump by paying 1 red. He gets +1, -1, and he can also be transformed into the drone pack Kindred, much more scary than the other side that has trample, and when you can pay generic to pump it and it doesn't lose toughness in the process. Finally, the Lupine prototype, a very strange artifact for 2. You get this 5/5 creature, but it cannot attack or block unless a player has no cards in hand, and it's quite risky to find yourself without cards in hand, and it's not so easy to get rid of the opponent's hands, but it's doable. Maybe sometime in the future we can try to play that. Another copy of the Building Pack Outcast, also Gaebony Unhallowed, a very powerful zombie, because whenever another creature you control dies, you get to place 1/1/1 counter on this one. If you are playing zombies, it's quite likely that you are going to be killing your own creatures at some point. Scour the laboratory, delirium to draw 3 cards, paying with a reduction on cost. For 6, drawing 3 at instant speed might be playable, but if you get delirium you have to pay just 4, and that is a very decent drawing spell. Blessed Alliance, very versatile, a better version at, well, it's an alternative of the Celestial Flare. You cannot force the opponent to sacrifice blocking creatures, only attacking, but since this is 1 white and 1 generic instead of the Celestial Flare that needs 2 whites, this is kind of easier to cast, and you also get to escalate, so you might want to untap 2 of your creatures or the opponent creatures for some reason, who knows, and also gain life. And finally, this nice looking land that can be used to somehow mill or activate madness or whatnot. Very techy land card, but I think this is very fun to play with or to play against. So that's it for tonight's video. I hope you have enjoyed the game. We didn't get to play Nahiri still, but she's in there. Sometime she might show his face, but for the time being, that's it. So if you like it, don't forget to leave a comment and your suggestions are always welcome. So sayonara until next time.